morning and welcome to Ad Age Remotely. I'm Adrienne Pasquarelli, Senior Reporter here at Ad Age. Today I am joined live by Winnie Park, CEO of Forever21. Hi Winnie, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi Adrienne, thanks so much for having me.
Now, before we get started, I want to remind our viewers that if you have any questions, feel free to leave them on our social channels, and we'll do our best to get to them during the conversation. And let us know where you're watching from. So Winnie, you joined Forever21 earlier this year after working at PaperSource for several years. How has your transition been?
It's been pretty amazing, Adrienne, I have to say. The journey to Forever21 felt absolutely right and natural. It's been a bit hectic though, learning the organization and the business. And I think the thing that has been so impressive to me is the level of passion and commitment of the people at Forever21. They genuinely love the brand and genuinely love what they do.
Now, Forever21 has had its share of ups and downs, even before the pandemic, the bankruptcy filing of 2019 being a primary example. What are some of the main problems that the chain has faced in the past few years?
I think that it's actually quite a remarkable story. Our origin story, we were born in Los Angeles, founded by Korean American immigrants, and they just experienced just huge growth. And they grew almost too fast in a short period of time, which led to filing for bankruptcy. And immediately after filing, of course, we went into the pandemic. So a big piece of what I have focused on is actually just uniting the teams and really understanding the level of talent and genius we have within our teams and renewing our focus. And I do think that for us, what has been consistent in our 30-year history is the ability to actually provide an amazing range of styles and fashion at very democratic price points. And so I think leaning into what we're really great at, but also redefining who we can be. I think that during the pandemic, lots of retailers, frankly, struggled. And we find ourselves in a unique position and in a position to actually be a true resource for a multi-generational customer with a focus on Gen Z, but also millennials who grew up with us and Gen X who grew up with us. I'm in the unique position of shopping Forever21 with my daughter who's 17 years old. And so there's something kind of magical about that. We're also uniquely positioned in that, we're taking on a transformation as a business going from multi-channels to really being omni-channel and offering the customer a seamless shopping experience between online, in-store, and also really looking at social commerce. And finally, having a presence in the Metaverse.
We're definitely going to unpack a lot of that later in the conversation. So you weren't the only retail brand that had to hit the reset button during the pandemic, that's for sure. How is today's Forever21 different from what we've seen before? If someone was just coming to the brand today with new eyes, not knowing any of the history, what would they see that someone before might not have?
I think that we've made a very conscious move to be thoughtful and to be more curatorial in our approach. So we don't want to be just about fast fashion. We actually want to be a brand that celebrates really the lifestyles of our customer and a connection with that customer, regardless of age, gender, sexual preference, size. That notion of inclusivity is something we've always embraced, but we really want to put that forward. And if anything, our lifestyle is that celebration of inclusivity as well as self-expression. And we focused and honed really on that customer and getting intimate with our customer. And what's so fascinating is our core customer is Gen Z. And what is fascinating about them is that they're really not shopping for brands to tell them how to look or who to be. I think what they really want is a resource where they can go and find anything they need to self-express. The other interesting thing about Gen Z is that they really could wake up feeling one way and self-expressing in, a certain style, be it goth, and end the day in beachy casual. It doesn't have to be one identity. And what we've decided is we really want to be a resource for that customer. And again, really relook at how we can continue to be relevant for millennials and Gen X as we evolve as a brand.
And now you're tasked with spreading the word. Forever 21 recently rolled out a new marketing campaign. Can you tell us a little bit about it? And then we're going to air an excerpt.
Thank you, Adrienne. We're so excited about this campaign. Really what inspired the campaign is our origin story. We were founded in Los Angeles. And I think that a lot of brands who focus on their Los Angeles roots focus on the beach. And what we're saying is this is really a love story to Los Angeles and all the cultures within Los Angeles. And our story spans the beaches of Malibu to the skate parks of Venice, all the way through to the Hollywood Hills with the glitz and glamour. But more importantly, what's happening in East LA and downtown LA and the streetwear and the fashion that you see there. So this is a celebration of all of those styles, all of those lifestyles. That's part of our original DNA and origin story. And again, this is a way for us to kind of come back out as a brand and say, we're here. And you will see that theme of inclusivity, self-expression, and really multiculturalism and celebrating multiculturalism.
Well, let's show an excerpt from that video. So the campaign really feels like it is focusing on Forever 21's LA roots, as you said, and you feature some online creators in the spot as well. What has reception been like from your customers?
It's been terrific. And actually, part of our journey is also to create a 360-degree marketing experience. For us, marketing is not about ad spend. It really is about creating a connected journey for our customers. And so you will see assets, for instance, in store that allow you actually with a QR code to go directly back to the campaign. And I think that what you will see in stores is actually each of those lifestyles come to life, so that you can shop the Venice zone, you can shop the Malibu zone, and get a sense of not only our origins, but again, LA is really a jumping off point. It's a source of inspiration for us because it's a place where film, where music, art, fashion, all collide. And so what we see is that it becomes a source of inspiration, and it certainly, you can see it in the stores and you could definitely see it online as well.
So it's a marketing campaign, but it also has a social commerce component with the stores. How is that working if I were to go into a store and take a look at some of the images from the campaign?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we wanted to make sure we did was we actually leveraged a whole pantheon of influencers. So these are folks who, some of them have tremendous, huge following, some of them much smaller, and really tapping into micro communities. And so for every shot of the city, you actually see kind of one marquee talent, and then you see talent around them. And actually, when we shot, they were able to take their take on the experience. And so you see it through the lens of an Olivia Holt, for instance, in her edit and her picks. So when you go into the stores and you actually pick up the QR code, it will link to Olivia's looks and her choices. We're going to take this one step further as we explore other ways to actually activate via social, and we're exploring something for back to school. It's a little bit of a surprise, but again, it's going to actually take activation to the next level. Instead of having it be fully produced, we're going to actually ask our customers to come in and engage with us.
Now, there's a lot of non-traditional marketing that you're doing around this campaign. What about traditional advertising? Are you doing things like TV and out of home?
So we are doing out of home. We are not doing TV, and part of the reason why we're not doing TV is really to stay focused on that core customer, Gen Z. And for them, social is everything. How they choose to engage with social, and frankly, likewise with millennials who are digital natives, is it depends on the person and the mode and what they want to express. So we're really focused much more on digital and social. But in terms of what we're doing with out of home, we just decided to do something quite creative and different. We have partnered with the Boys and Girls Club. We've been partners with the Boys and Girls Club for many years. In fact, we raised $3.2 million for them last year. We'll continue to do those initiatives, but we've partnered with them in the city of Los Angeles to actually build out murals. And those murals are a celebration of Los Angeles and this whole notion of Forever LA. And through this, again, you'll see a QR code and the ability to connect with Forever 21. So we don't want to do anything that's too expected. I think that for us, it's the unexpected. And how do we actually meet our customers where they are? Likewise, we're one of the first brands to be actually in Roblox, in the Metaverse. And when people ask me, are you making any money off of that? No, we just want to be present. We want to be present for young customers and kind of live in the universe that they're living in at the moment. And so that's kind of our philosophy behind marketing, is meeting customers where they are in the moments where kind of you can capture their imagination and co-create with them.
Well, you mentioned Roblox. That was certainly something I wanted to talk to you about because it's been such a phenomenon. When did Forever 21 first venture there? And tell us a little more about your Metaverse strategy.
So we've really been there since about 2021. So it's only been about a year. We are part of Shop City, where players can come and actually create their own version of Forever 21. And so we actually see co-creation. It is pretty remarkable because you can also create your own products. And so we've had makers and creators in the Metaverse create product and seen that product sell virtually. We've got like a little hat that says Forever 21, and I think nearly 1 million units have sold in the Metaverse. And again, for us, it's a celebration of like bringing players into our universe and seeing how they use the assets of our brand to create their own reality and what's relevant for them.
And do any of those products that they create, are any of those going to appear in real life? Like, will the hats begin selling in stores?
We're working on that. But what is also neat is on the 21st of every month, we actually drop product into Roblox that you can also purchase in store. So that's our first foray. And then this whole notion of actually creating in real life that product is the next step for us.
Well, obviously, as a youth-focused brand, Forever 21 needs to appeal to Gen Z and tweens even. But you mentioned some of the older consumers that you were hoping to entice as well. How are you marketing to some generations that may not be familiar with Roblox or social commerce?
Right. I mean, that is part of what we're trying to do here is actually we have so many customers that have shopped us for years and years. And I think part of remaining relevant for the customers who aren't Gen Z is to ensure that we've got the right product for them. And so part of the journey that we're on is actually relooking at everything in terms of fabrics, fits, looking at how we can meet their needs across a range of wearing occasions. Everything from casual to work, all the way through to what you wear in the evenings. And so part of the focus of what we're doing is again, with that focus on the customer, customer, how do we gain relevance via product, and then how we reach them. Our source, I would say one of our top sources of getting customers to engage are our stores. And we're also working very hard on a digital strategy that, again, spans those generations. And so part of this is just connecting all the dots and making sure that they're aware that we're there for them. And this campaign was our first kind of foray into shouting that.
If you're just joining us, I'm Adrienne Pasquarelli with Ad Age, and I'm joined by Winnie Park, CEO of Forever21. I'd like to quickly say hi to those who've been tuning in. We have Jennifer from Indiana, Ariel from California, Simona from Romania, Kaleem from India, and Tom from Florida. Hi, everyone. So is all of your marketing done internally, or do you work with external creative partners? And how much of the strategy is done with each?
So for the Forever LA campaign, we actually brought on external partners. Generally speaking, we do most of our marketing in-house. We've got a tremendous creative team. But for this, kind of coming out and love song to Los Angeles and to our origins, we decided to partner with Campbell Ewald and specifically a group out of Los Angeles called The Salon. And for The Salon, we're their very first real clients. And what we loved about their approach was the fact that they are focused on culture and the impact of culture. And they're also focused on generational marketing and how to be relevant. And I felt like when we spoke to them, it was kind of a match made in heaven. We were speaking the same language. And so making the Forever LA campaign come together very, very quickly. We did it in record time. We did it in about 8 weeks right after I joined. And so that was also part of this, is just getting additional resources, smart people, connections to help us do this in rapid speed.
Now, is that relationship on a project basis, or will you continue working with them throughout the year?
We hope to continue working with them. And, we are looking at the next project being back to school, which is a big season for us, and what can we do next? But again, it's so much occurs within Forever 21. And for us, it's bringing in a critical thought partner to help us think about how to be that much more disruptive.
Now, you mentioned a little bit about this earlier, but I want to get into it a little more about how Forever 21 is thinking about diversity and inclusivity. It's Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Is the brand doing anything in honor of that? And how are you thinking about this when it comes into your marketing?
Absolutely. We do think about this very, very, very frequently. I mean, starting with honestly, the celebration of Black history. We brought in creators who honestly are artists, African-American artists, to create exclusive lines. And then following up from there with AAPI, we've actually worked with brands, and specifically beauty brands that were based, that have Asian founders and Asian roots. And you will see that actually popped up in our stores and online. So we really do take this very seriously, and kind of the next step for us, of course, is just looking at what we do for Pride, and we've got some exciting things that we're going to be rolling out. But for us, inclusivity is really beyond just race and ethnicity. It's also size inclusivity, and it's gender fluidity, frankly. I hear from so many folks who feel like Forever 21 is a place of comfort. Our very own employees feel like they can be whoever they want to be. And they don't have to be defined by hard lines around race or around gender. And we're just super proud of that. And again, we want to be a vehicle for self-expression, regardless of how you self-express.
So Forever 21 has consistently been labeled as a fast fashion retailer because of the low prices and continual churn of trends and styles. That term was maybe previously acceptable, but there's been backlash in recent years as consumers think about sustainability and more eco-friendly ways of production. How is Forever 21 approaching its supply chain and production? What are your thoughts on this fast fashion label?
Absolutely. Truthfully, I'd like to move away from fast fashion. I think we will always be on trend and fast in terms of offering great style to customers. But I think that with my joining, we are re-looking at everything we do and how we do it. And for us, it's about building a roadmap for sustainability. And it impacts not only how we make product, but also, frankly, down to materials for our shopping bags, energy use in our stores. It's all aspects. So we actually have created a group within Forever 21 to help us develop this roadmap and to set some goals for ourselves. Because Rome was not built in a day. I will also say that over time, Forever 21 has been amazing at really, I would say, being that much more conscientious about how we produce, where we produce, and thinking through the implications. But we've got a ways to go. We're not perfect, but I think it's something that not only us, but all of our fellow brands in the industry have to take very, very seriously.
Well, obviously, if you are exploring more sustainable production practices, that might impact prices. And how are you thinking
Yes.
about that?
Yes. And that is the tough thing. I think oftentimes customers want both. and
Yes.
the reality is you can't. And so again, along along the theme of being more relevant and having things that last a little bit longer, we are looking at quality, and we are looking at where it demands a higher price, especially if there are elements that were ecologically sourced, then we'll have to go up. But what's amazing about Forever 21 is that we do have a broad range of price points, and I think it just depends on the customer and what they're willing to invest in. And so that will be part of the storytelling that we need to do and the reach out around this is an investment, and we get that. So it will be a balancing act.
I think that's where marketing will also come into play, where you need to label things that are, sustainably sourced and that kind of collection to communicate it to customers looking for it.
Absolutely. And one of the things we're looking at is how to do that, and how to kick off a collection with, frankly, another brand or an influencer who really is a believer and committed to honestly sustainability and going greener. And like I said, this is, there are very few apparel brands out there can claim that they've won in this regard. And I think it's less about overnight having all the answers, but it is about building that roadmap and committing to it and setting goals and targets.
And having that direction and brand purpose to communicate to your customer.
Absolutely.
What about your store fleet? I know that the company closed a lot of stores during the bankruptcy restructuring and the pandemic. How many are open right now, and how are you thinking about brick and mortar versus online?
Yes, we've got an amazing fleet of like 425 stores. They're incredible. They are absolutely critical. And I would say one of the key competitive advantages we've got is our stores. And they are, like, in many cases, a mini department store and a department store of the future. Because not only do we offer fashion for women, but also men, kids, active. We've got sleep, lingerie, footwear, jewelry, home, and decor. So we see ourselves as a one-stop shop, really, for the entire family and friends and anyone else. But they are absolutely critical because we are finding that our customers actually really do love that visceral experience of shopping, and that's certainly very relevant for Gen Z. They value brands. They value brands that have meaning. And they also like the shopping experience, being in physical stores, as well as browsing online. So it's this question of how do you make it easy for them between the two channels, and how do you make it seamless? But we are excited, and we're opening 13 new stores this year. So we just keep going.
I guess that's where the QR code from the campaign comes into play too, kind of getting that real life aspect of marketing in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And having, honestly, I think video is visceral. Like it sends a message that you can connect to emotionally. And I think that's the big turning point for us, is to develop an emotional connection with our customers, not be just another place and not just be more stuff, but how do we develop that emotional connection and that loyalty, and truly regained our spot as a heartmark brand.
Well, we're almost out of time, but I was hoping you could touch on what else you might be focusing on for the rest of this year and give us a glimpse of what we can expect to see from Forever 21.
Great. We have a constant cadence of activations, collaborations, and partnerships. And I think it makes us unique and fresh. And so that's one of the big focus areas, is how to continue to drive that and deliver newness and deliver, honestly, brands and product that surprise and delight our customers. We have Barbie coming up, and our collaboration with Barbie, and I'm very, very excited because I think the campaign is somewhat magical. It's fun, it's playful, but it also celebrates, again, inclusivity, and we've just launched actually Sports Illustrated, which for us was all about empowerment and honestly, women feeling really positive about their bodies and body positivity. So everything we do has a layer of meaning to it. So continuing that cadence of collaborations is one thing that we'll be focused on. The second piece of this is continuing to hone our message and to hone our relevance with the customer as a true brand, not just, again, another retailer or another place to buy stuff. And I do think that's critical. I think it's critical to mean more to the customer today than in the past. And we'll continue to actually refine our approach in terms of the product strategy, so that we're, again, delivering against all of the values that we believe in, going from size inclusivity, really looking at how do we continue to offer amazing fashion at democratic prices, but also start to think through how do we do that in an even more sustainable way than we do today. And I would say, finally, it is bringing this team together. It's such an incredible team of folks who deliver Forever 21. There's such magic and passion. And so continuing to bring them together, as I am new to the bunch, and just making sure that they've got what they need to unlock their genius and unlock what makes the brand so special, which is their individual creativity, their individual passion.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I look forward to seeing what's ahead.
Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you
so much for joining us, Winnie. And as always, thank you to our Ad Age live stream dream team, Arabella Breck, Alfred Mascaroni, Anna Sakula, and Lauren Chiardio. Please continue to check adage.com for breaking news, and come back on Thursday when we have a live interview with the president of PacSun. Thanks for tuning in.